So a woman is shot and killed after after, yes, being asked to help her friend. That's not cool. Think about that. Like, subscribe, ID in the Discovery Channel. Yes, ID in the Discovery Channel. The links are provided below. Get that Discovery Go app as well as an ID Go app. You might want to get those two things, combine them, make them into one. And I'm a Discovery influencer. That's indeed a fact. I'm a Discovery influencer. So, 56-year-old Angelo Borison of Minnesota is currently facing second-degree murder as well as second-degree assault for shooting a woman dead who tried to help him. Let me pause. Had to make sure my mic didn't go out. Once again, yes, second-degree assault as well as second-degree murder for shooting a woman dead who tried to help him. How the situation played out is Borison sent a text message to Angela when the victim was up above my head a little bit ago, right? The situation played out. Borison sent a text message to Angela Wynn and asked her if she could pick him up so that he could get gas for his car. Strange things happen when you're friends with someone, right? Help is needed and then it ends up deadly, right? When 51-year-old Angela Wynn showed up at his place of residence to pick him up, he took forever to come outside to her car. Therefore, Wynn both shouted for him to come outside, as well as she honked her horn. Like, who hasn't did that, right? Who hasn't once in their life yelled out the car window, van window, minivan window, please hurry up so we can go, you're taking too long, as well as honking the horn, right? But the strange part about this story is Borison didn't want Wynn to leave. He didn't want her to leave out of the driveway anywhere, right? He then walked outside and proceeded to shoot a loaded shotgun directly at the minivan she occupied. There's more to this story. There's some huge gap, and yet even that hasn't been fully filled, right? There's something missing or something, right? I can see that. 3 of the gunshots he fired at Wynn's minivan took out her passenger side windows as well as the driver's side window. No one knows the relationship in which both of them had, whether it was love or just a friendship. Yet, once again, something had to have been there, more likely something, right? Love or something, because to kill her in that way, to say I'm going to, let me see. Because it was never really specified whether she drove off away from him or hit the foot on the gas, right? If he was in that type of state of thinking, I think I possibly would have hit the gas and everything else, right? And possibly ran some people over myself to get away from that, right? His mess. And yet, once again, it was never said whether she drove off or if he just shot her and killed her right then. Because to say you have to let me think this out. To shoot out 3 windows, right? You shot out the passenger side windows as well as the driver's side, right? That's a lot of shoot and aim. That's almost like it's like almost a getaway vehicle when you think about it. Consider it. A getaway vehicle, and yet you're not the passenger you want it to be, right? And then for her to be pronounced dead, because see, that's 3 windows. The driver's side, that's 2 different dimensions, right? One side of a vehicle and another side of a vehicle, right? And yet, once again, to shoot and aim at that level, as I say, a lot more had to be going on with that. As in, it couldn't have just been pick me up, drive me to the gas station or something. Maybe it could have been, or maybe they were in a love relationship or something secretly or quietly, right? And yet there was a disagreement or something that left him fuming or something. Or maybe he had violent tendencies that her family or something didn't know about. Maybe she knew about. Maybe he was undercover abusive or something. Because even that's how abusive relationships sometimes end. But why would it have to get that far where you're in the getaway vehicle that was just supposed to be a driving vehicle, right? Something is off about that sort of thing. I'm not gonna say it was staged. No, not staged. In his own mind, it possibly could have been, right? She didn't know it was coming. You never know how people set stuff up before, right? As in, they have intention to kill you, and yet you don't know it's coming, and yet they tell you to come pick them up to go to the gas station, and yet that's not their intention to begin with. Their intention is to blow your brains out or something, right? She might have wanted to get rid of him from the beginning or something. Yeah. It's a little bit creepy, right? Because for me, I'm just so visual, I'm able to see that sort of thing because I'm able to see all the way around the vehicle. This reminds me of the Asia degree situation when I was pinpointing different dimensions of the vehicle, as in the left, right, front and back, right, and the shooting location with that sort of thing. As in how, if she did, let me go back. Say if she did drive off or tried or attempted to drive off. How many more, not rounds, kind of, right, would it have taken if he didn't kill her? If she would have been alive, right? Because, yeah, something about that is off. Because that's, wait. Let me pause. I'm still thinking. That just don't seem right. It's an awkward situation. As well as it was an awkward position on her end, I'm sure, while she was dying, if she didn't die right then, right? I'm saying, point blank, right? Yeah. Because, see, let me see. Because what keeps coming to my mind, that's why I keep pausing. What keeps coming to my mind is him running after the vehicle. That's what keeps coming to my mind, is that sort of thing, right? A man his age, you're not wanting to be left, right? 56 years old. Him being 56 years old and her being 51 years old, right? Not too much of an age difference. They're right around the same age, somewhat, right? A few years apart, right? And yet, him on foot. Because even the gap sort of thing, such as even that will tell, as in if the vehicle was moving or not, right? The vehicle was moving, not. That sort of thing is going much more deeply than it should. I tried to keep the video short. But even that will pinpoint the gap, I'm saying, whether a vehicle was in motion and how fast she was moving in the vehicle. If so, even that will specify if love was there or not. Love relationship. Did I say that for 2 or 3 times? I'm just saying it again for those that might not really understood the first time. Didn't understand the first time, sorry. Yeah. Because I can't really see, my judgment is somewhat clouded for a second, right? Because I'm trying to think 2 thoughts at once. My brain does that as well. Think 2 things at once, right? I use my whole brain in solving stuff or trying to figure and pinpoint. Some people don't know that I use right hemisphere as well as left hemisphere, both. Most humans are more, I should make a video about that, but most humans are dominant, as in you have some humans that use left hemisphere more than they use the right hemisphere, right? I use both. So when I use both and trying to solve and calculate stuff and pick things apart, I'm thinking two thoughts sometimes at once, sometimes even three thoughts. It's highly logical. My brain is. That's why I will pause, because as I'm talking, other thoughts are trying to intervene, and yet it's like clicking a blinker on and off in a vehicle. Clicking it on and off, and yet they're both going off at the same time, right? Yeah, that sort of thing. But yeah, there's no friendship that is gonna just say, well, the average friend is gonna say, well, you know, she left. Especially at 50. That's what I was getting at, his age, right? The average 50-year-old man is gonna say, well, I don't want her to leave, right? I mean, because it's not like he was going on a trip. It's not like he was trying to get to the airport. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't an emergency situation. Or it wasn't a situation where money was being lost. Maybe he felt it was on his end. Some people think differently, right? Their perspective is differently, right? He might have felt, well, I need to get to the gas station now, right? But she feeling, well, you took too long, right? Yeah. Because the way that he shot at her like that, you would almost think even somebody that needed to be to the airport on time is not going to shoot like that. They're not going to shoot and kill somebody like that. Yeah, that's a deep situation. So Wynn received wounds to both her shoulder and head, which led to her being pronounced dead. It was Borison who called 911 to disclose of the shooting which took place. He called 911 himself and not anyone else, right? That's to say he's a bold figure with even that sort of thing. Because to kill somebody like that on the spot and then dial 911 is to show a lot of boldness with that. Okay, so Borison claims he didn't plan to shoot her. He stated it just happened. Well, I don't know about that sort of thing. We should call Dr. Phil and ask him what he think about that sort of thing, right? Get Dr. Phil on the line. Because, yeah, he don't look too happy even in his mugshot, right? To say that sort of shooting just happened, as in it was a coincidence, serendipity, it just came up in your mind fresh, right? Let me just shoot her, right? He could have shot at the tires or something. I think too logic. I think too full of logic. That's what one of my viewers said last year. They said you're just being too logical. Well, whatever. Whatever my brain says to peer through and research through, even in the moment, as in a split second, as in me saying, well, he could have shot the tires, even that's common sense. Because I didn't think that out. I thought it up on the spot, right? Yeah, even that happens all the time. That's insight as well. Thinking up stuff right on the spot, right? Because even that's common logic to say, well, if you see what I'm saying? Him being in the courtroom, right? And a judge come up and say, well, you could have shot at the tires. If you really didn't want to shoot and kill her full of loaded ammunition and all the rest, you could have shot somewhere else and not continue to aim and shoot, right? Because tires are moving as well as windows are moving if the vehicle was in motion. But let me leave it alone. If the vehicle was in motion, it's to say you could have, yes, went off straight and aimed at the tires to stop the vehicle, right? Depending on the direction and how quickly she would have been moving the vehicle, especially if it was a minivan and if it was top heavy or not, it might have flipped over, who knows, right? But say if the vehicle wasn't moving, when it comes to a courtroom, even a judge will be able to, prosecutors and all the rest will be able to pinpoint that. If that vehicle was moving, because does that or does that not make sense, dear viewers? Leave a comment in the comment section. As in, I'm able to somewhat pinpoint whether he's telling the truth or not. Yeah, because tires would blow out first. That's the first thing. If you don't want to shoot and kill somebody, you're gonna aim like he did at the windows, and yet you're not gonna keep firing with potential to kill her, as in yes, killing her, right? You're gonna aim somewhere else to try to stop the vehicle and not aim at the windows. And the only best thing I can think of is tires. Well, let me not kill her, but let me try to stop the vehicle. There's nothing else on the vehicle in mid-sentence anywhere but the tires to stop a vehicle. I said that 10 times. And yet, if the vehicle wasn't moving, it's to say he possibly had intention to kill her. Because to just shoot at a vehicle that's not moving and is sitting there, and you shooting at different angles, see, you have to read more deeply into that sort of thing. Because even I said that already. Even the angles of shooting out windows will pinpoint where he was in movement. Whether he was just standing at the curb talking to her, or if he was on one end of the vehicle and then on another end trying to make her stop. Because to be moving from one end, the passenger side and the driver's side, and shooting and all the rest, well, maybe he wasn't, right? But it just seems to me right mind to think it out logically. Because let me go back on that. Let me think that. You viewers can think that out as well, because even if he was from behind the vehicle, something about the story. Because even if he was from behind the vehicle and say she drove off, that's to say the back window would have been blown out. As in the rear view, not the rear. Yeah, the rear window would have been blown out. Passenger side windows as well as driver's side. The rear. Because for him to be 50 in his 50s, as I say, if she was to drive off and he was to shoot his gun, right, the way that he did, is to say he would have been behind the vehicle, and that would have led to him being an individual shooting from behind and not shooting at sides like that. That's about right. A 56-year-old man I can't really see really running. I keep going back to that. I can't really see him running. And I don't know. It just seems like, the back windows would have been blown out. The back windows. Not even the back windows, more so the rear. The whole rear window would have been blown out or something. Because to have intention to aim is to have intention to kill, right? Right there on the spot. And then act like you didn't have intention to kill, and yet some people is able to see through those sort of things, myself being included, as in what could have possibly been the thing. The real intention to kill, and not just you saying that, oh no, it just happened. No, I don't think so. Stay with that, dear viewers, on that rear view window. His position, his body position or something. I'm able to see that any visual individual watching this video, that rhyme, they will be able to see what I'm seeing. Because a vehicle points in this direction, right? Passenger side, what will be the reason? How far away? Because then that's to ask the question if he was still on the porch of his house coming out, as in the distance from the curb of where her vehicle possibly could have been, and how far away he was if he was still standing in his door. Because you can shoot and knock out the passenger side windows right there on that side, right? The whole passenger side, both the windows, as well as knock out the driver's side from him being on this side of the curb, right? On the passenger side. Yeah. Question in the distance with even him. How far away? I think that's all to be said for now, because I'll go much more deeper than that. The tragedy rests as it is. He just don't look too happy, right? So his bond is set as $750,000, and his court date is March 16th, 2020, right? He looks like he's looking at me. I like to look at people's eyes, right? This sounds like a Jerry Springer story. Being shot over honking sounds like a Jerry Springer story. I just feel like maybe she didn't want to be there. As in whatever relationship that they had, maybe she didn't really want to be there. As in maybe she wanted nothing to do with the shooter overall. That's what he is. He could have been her boyfriend, but who knows, right? That could have been why he shot her and killed her like that, right? She might not, because see, even sometimes if it's an abusive relationship, whatever it was, right, on the low, or even if family knew about it, seems like they didn't, right? Because that sort of thing would have came out like newsworthy, right? But yeah, abusive relationships, whatever, right? Oftentimes they end with the person, she looks like she was sweet, loving, and caring in her photo. She looks like a face I've seen before, right? Sometimes relationships end in that way with a person that's being abused, whether verbally, you don't know how he talked to her, even if he wasn't putting his hands on her. She might just wanted to be done with him, right? And that's often how it takes place, a killing or something. Because not everybody can take the other individual leaving. Some people have control issues, such as domineering issues. Let's see. And even in that, fighting words could have taken place, right? She could have came out her mouth and said, well, I don't really want to be here. I shouldn't have never came. Because even some people, when they go to pick up somebody and they take too long, the individual take too long, sometimes a person that came to help and pick up the person to go to the gas station or whatever, right? Sometimes a helping person can say certain things in agitation that will make the other person that is prone to anger upset or mad, right? But I don't think it's going to be to the point of shooting and killing somebody. Some people don't know how to resolve their anger on the spot. So I think that's all to be said about that. His face. But hers, though. That's sad in itself, because when you think about her family members, as in the way he took her out like that, he didn't even consider their feelings, right? Most killers don't. We're on investigation discovery. The ID logo stands in the far left corner, right? Let me scroll down. Let me make sure everything's positioned, because I have to be able to see what I'm working with. So, new episodes. Episodes are right here. There's no over button. It disappears sometime. Unlike episodes, John Walsh. Every time I think about his son Adam, there's a scary vibe that comes over, a leery, even a creepy feeling with that. Creeped out. Unlocked series, as in how when it comes to his son, the way that he was tragically killed. Recommended for you. Shouts out to Lieutenant Jokinda as well as Paula. ID Go original series. Let me scroll back up right quick, because I think I missed something. Me talking so much is why I'm missing things. to gain access to this is the click right here. You need to provide who you're subscribed to gain access to that sort of thing, right? To preview it, because it's locked down, and this should be down more. That's why my eye placement is off, as well as on here is off, right? But the receive a audio visual, you would usually click the play button, which is right here, usually in the center, but it's up right here. Receive a audio visual is a click that play button. You can go through these yourself. You will see pictorial and motion as well as sound, right? Same with these. To receive a newsletter from Investigation Discovery, you want to type your email address in. Yes, type your email address in right here. Click the next button, and you would in fact receive a newsletter from Investigation Discovery. I'm sitting on the next button, and yet once you come on here, you'll have access to that sort of thing. So leave a comment in the comment section, dear viewers. Let me know what you think and feel about this story. Yeah, that's sad in itself when it comes to John Walsh. Just imagine if your son, somebody, yes, the execution style and killing a child like that is to say that person had no remorse or anything, not a care in the world. And yet to be a parent is to say, how do you live and sleep at night? With even after everything being done over the years. Because you will start to question God. I know I would. Some people don't. They'll say, don't question God. No, yes, I feel that you should. Because for anybody in their right mind will question God on even that. For a child to be killed the way that John Walsh's child was killed, that's the worst way. Execution style, in the sense where his head was found, right? His head was found, right? No, you need to question God up and down on that sort of thing, because there's grown people that are serial killers that need to be killed like that, and yet they're not. Some of them are in fact walking the streets, and all the rest serial killers have in fact been allowed to leave, yes, jail and all the rest. Some of them have escaped and all the rest, right? And they freely walk the streets and all the rest, right? Some of them go off, have family, children and all the rest, right, after they done took somebody's life, right? And yet for a young child to be killed in that way, the kidnap with that sort of thing, is to no, sorry, I indeed ask God, because that's to me that's unfair with that sort of thing when stuff like that take place. You got people out here that freely walk this earth that done committed all type of tragedy every which way. Killing is the worst thing that you can do, right? Well, God, what was the reason for that child having to die in the way that he died? Some religious people don't like that sort of thing. You question it. No, you need to question, because even that presents a learning experience and questioning the right way, right? Because to be a part of society is to say nobody in their right mind gonna let that even go blind on their eyes and say, well, he died, that was somebody's child. Oh yeah, question even God with that, because you wouldn't want your family member, that child, the way he died. You wouldn't want that to be your niece or nephew or child to die in that same way. You need to question God with that sort of stuff. So I think that's all to be said for now. I'm going to enjoy my day. May you enjoy yours, and I will be gone. And may you enjoy your day. I just said that. I had to rewind it back on the tape, so